On May 15th, hundreds of students, parents, teachers, elected officials, and members of Occupy Philly rallied against a proposed radical restructuring of the Philadelphia public school system. Activists like 16-year-old Philadelphia high school student Cheyenne Williams say public schools already are plagued by years of budget cuts.
Our classes are already crowded and the hallways are crowded. It's drama, bullies every day, and it's just ridiculous. And there's not even that many students in my school. It's only 9th and 10th graders, but it seems like so much. So when they pack more students into the school, it's just going to make it worse.
These kids are our future. Without them, we wouldn't have no future. They don't have stuff they need for schooling. They don't have books and computers, and it's already a difference because in the suburban area schools, they get $21,000, and in the lower class, they get $11,000 per student. It's crazy.
In order to deal with the massive budget shortfall, the Philadelphia School Reform Commission has proposed a dramatic restructuring, which would include closing dozens of schools and laying off hundreds of workers while expanding charter schools.
Naomi Klein coined the term the shock doctrine to describe a situation in which disasters, perceived or real, man-made or natural, are exploited in order to do complete overhauls of the public good for private gain. And that's definitely what we've seen in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia parent activist Helen says the city's fiscal crisis is being used as an excuse to privatize one of the country's largest public school systems for corporate profit.
We're looking at massive school closures in Philadelphia, 25% of our schools in the next 5 years, 64 schools, 40 alone next year, 40% of students into charter, and the rest of the schools divided into networks managed by third-party operators. I mean, it is the quintessential example of shock doctrine tactics.
Also opposing plans to privatize more public schools is Occupy Philly activist Justin Harrison, whose children attend charter schools.
I think it's a crime. I mean, first of all, it's no solution. I mean, there's a fundamental difference between a group of educators and a group of parents coming together with a vision for education and forming a charter school, which is sort of the promise, and the wholesale conversion of public schools, handing them over to private contractors, right? That's not a solution.
Harrison says privately run charter schools prevent parents from having an input into their children's education.
The downside of charter schools is that there's no democratic control. I mean, charter schools' accountability is to its board. You know, there's no due process for students in terms of discipline or how the rules are supposed to work. There's no due process or democratic participation from families.
Another protester, public school teacher and activist Anissa Weingrub, says charter schools are part of a top-down approach to education reform that stifles grassroots community efforts to improve public education.
And so this whole myth that charter equals excellence, that's not true. And in fact, what we're saying in Philadelphia is there's greatness on the ground. There are so many good ideas with teachers, with students, with student organizing, with parent groups. And so if actually the way to transform our schools is not to shut them down or hand them over to the highest bidder, but to allow us the resources, stability, and commitment to actually be able to transform our schools from within.
When the state of Pennsylvania took control of Philadelphia's public schools in 2001, activists from across the city successfully waged a campaign to prevent the privatization of the entire school system. Such lessons give many, including Helen, hope that public outrage will pressure Philadelphia to reject the system overhaul.
That didn't happen in 2001. We think it won't happen again this time around because the people have wised up over a decade of false promises and hundreds of millions of dollars that have gone down the drain over this. So I don't think that people are going to be silent, and I think that it's important for our public officials to recognize that.
Reporting for the Real News, this is Jessel Noor in Philadelphia.